So to mix grays, we're going to use the black and the white, and we're going to start with the white as the base because it's lighter, and gradually add small smidgens of black to the white to create all of our different grays. Okay. Toward the end, we are going to neutralize it with a little bit of brown, and then I'll also share with you what it looks like to add a little bit of blue to it. Sometimes grays have a warm undertone of like a red or a brown, and sometimes they have a cool undertone of a blue. Okay. So I have two paintbrushes here. One is a small round and one is a flat. So please start with your small round, which is your smidgen brush. And I am going to grab the smallest amount of black and add it to the white, okay, to start with my mixing my first gray. If it looks swirly and awesome like this, keep mixing, please. Okay, so this right now looks like my first version of a gray, and that's perfect. Okay, so I will switch paintbrushes. I will use my flat. I will go ahead and plug in this gray using my flat. Please hold that paintbrush by the grippy. Okay, so this is gray number 1. And then for the next one, which is the medium gray, I am going to again use that light gray as the base and add a little bit more of the darker color to it. So I'm going to grab another smidge of black, mix it in with that gray, and see if I can get it to change into something that would be a more medium gray. Okay, so I have something that looks like this. This is a little bit darker than the one before it. I think I would like it even darker. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse and blot, pick up another smidge of that black, like so, and mix it in. Okay, so please mix it past where it's swirly and awesome. Okay, so mix, mix, mix. Yep, test blob it, that looks perfect. Okay, so that's more of a medium range gray. Pick up my flat and apply it. Okay, remember, hold that paintbrush by the grippy. So the goal here is to get 3 different grays, a light, a medium, and a darker one. Okay, and then we will add the brown to it, add a little bit of blue to it towards the end. Okay, just to see what we end up with. All right, so I have something that looks like that. Now for this last darker gray, I'm gonna go ahead and be a little bit more generous with the black. Okay, so instead of maybe a smidgen, maybe I'll pick up a glob, something that looks like that, and mix it in. Test blob it. It still looks too similar for my taste, so I'm going to add more black to it. Okay, so another smidge, another glob. Let's glob it in. We need it to be dark. Okay. This definitely looks a little bit better. Okay, so this definitely looks a little bit darker. I could even make it a smidge darker if I want. This is actually perfect for, I think, what I'm looking for. All right, so I'm gonna switch paintbrushes to the flat and apply it with the flat, holding it, of course, by the grip. Okay, now once I apply my darkest gray, I am then going to just use this darkest gray that I have and see what it looks like to neutralize it. Typically when we're neutralizing something, we are adding a little bit more of a natural color, meaning brown, or in some cases the colors complement to it. Today we're going to add a smidge of brown to it. And what it should do is, because this brown happens to be what would be called like a warmer brown, so it has sort of a reddish undertone to it, when I add this smidge of this to the gray, it makes the gray a smidge warmer. Okay. Now, once I mix that smidge of brown into the gray, if I feel like it hasn't really changed from the one before it, I'm gonna add another. In fact, maybe I'll glob it in. Let's glob the brown in. There we go. Okay. And you might notice that it sort of warms up that gray. Okay, I'm gonna add one more for good luck. Here we go. So the gray doesn't necessarily get any darker, it just gets warmer. Okay, and I don't know if you all can see this on video or not. To me, it looks like more of a cement color. Okay, so I'm gonna upgrade to my flat. Maybe if I apply it with my flat, you'll see it. Okay. Yeah, it definitely, while it's still the same darkness, it's warmer than this one here. Okay, let's try and swing it to a cooler gray. So we're gonna take this warmer one and attempt to make it cooler just by adding blue. Anytime you're making something a cooler tone, you're adding blue to it. Now I'm gonna be generous with the blue because I don't wanna waste our time. So I'm gonna take a glob of blue, add it in. And you'll notice by adding that glob of blue in, it now has, that warm gray has now turned cool, okay? In fact, I think I'm gonna add a small amount more so you can see it a little bit better on camera, okay? But you'll definitely notice that it's different from the gray with brown. There we go. So mixing it thoroughly. Okay, and it almost looks like a slate gray. Okay, slate gray is slate is stone. So it has more of that. There we go, applying the flat. More of that color to it. Now, some groups and some individuals will use more gray than others, just depends. So I just wanted to make sure you guys had a foundation for this. So starting with the white, adding the black in to make your own gray, and then you can either warm it up with some brown or cool it off with some blue.